Thinking about this for a long time, and it seems to me that civilization is worse than Hitler in the sense that maybe in 100 years we could take half the species with us, or to destroy them. And to think of a vision of how good it could be if we only had 500 million people on the planet, and we could all be rich, and we could not go to Buffalo, maybe in Kansas, draw some elephants, and maybe the sooner the better that it is reduced, and if the oil is the key to this, then maybe we shouldn't fight it, and we should enjoy our lives while we can, and look forward to the better future where we can go on for a longer time with a lot less people and live a lot better off.
Well, I once had a conversation with, I'm just now the front man for the Peak Oil Sustainability Movement. I can't tell you all the names that I dropped during the filming of this movie, which was shot over 5 separate shoots. And there are great people in the Peak Oil Sustainability, Richard Heinberg, Colin Kemp, Shell Alaclet of ASPO, Matt Simmons, Professor Al Bartlett, Professor Ken DeFaze of Princeton. These are the giants of the Peak Oil movement. They're the people who taught me. And I once had this conversation with Richard Heinberg. And I asked him, this was about 4 years ago, I said, Richard, if they killed off 4 billion people, how long could they keep the paradigm of infinite growth working? And he shuddered. He said, maybe another 200 or 300 years. But that would be the same dinosaurs and the same evil, unjust paradigm recreating itself. Now, you say it might be a good idea. Population reduction is going to happen one way or another. You saw that. You take away the oil, you take away the food. That nothing will replace the oil in the food chain. There's no alternative technology that will make the fertilizers. All the vehicles that plant the food are powered by oil. Nothing is going to replace that now, and we're on the downslope. Global food production is already falling off. Are you assuming that you're going to be one of the 500 million who lives? And how are you going to pick the ones that die?
I was simply thinking of the optimum instead of just sustainable. Sustainable is like being at the edge, you can fall off. Optimum would be being back here. We don't know what the best population for the planet where we could live for another million years. Now, when I mean rich, I didn't necessarily mean you have a car. But American Indians, Ben Franklin said when white people ran off with the Indians, they never wanted to come back because life was too good. And monkeys aren't complaining about their life, so we know
they're going extinct.
What's that?
They're going extinct. We're losing 200 or 300 species a year. The rate of species extinction.
There's too many people, and that's because of oil.
Okay, so what's your point?
I simply said that it's good that we're running out of oil. It's good that the population goes down because there's half the species on the planet to be gone in 100 years the way we're going now. They have every right to evolve.
All right. Theoretically, it's inevitable, and of course, to achieve balance, it has to happen.
Yes.
The reason why I have done what I did for all these years and why everybody in Peak Oil Sustainability has done what we've done is because we don't want the Rockefellers making the choice as to who lives and who dies. Yeah. Nor do we want the powers that protect the current economic paradigm to recreate the same paradigm so they can pump and dump all over again. That's what's happening. Mankind has got to redefine what it believes in. Our existence as a species is up. Who are we? What do we believe in? What do we care about? Now, I've never had children, okay? I've never had kids. So I can kind of look at every kid in the world as my kid. But I look at the generations down the road and I'm wondering what kind of shit we're going to leave them. We could easily nuke ourselves in a battle over energy. And believe me, the nukes are starting to come out. Then everything dies. Is that what we want? No, it's not what we want. Yes, there's going to be population reduction, but we have to get on the field and try to have a dialogue throughout our whole species as to how that's going to take place and what values we want to preserve. Okay, I got to take some more hands. Okay, there's 2 hands right close together. We'll take the man in front, there's a woman right behind him, and then we'll come to this guy down here. But the gentleman, go ahead.
Thank you for all the work you've done. I found this immensely important to myself and family. I'm wondering if you can comment at all. You played with a book called The Oil Card. You talked about how oil has been used and is continually being used for political purposes, and how it was used to bring down Russia by driving the price down.
Oh, I know all about that. So I didn't read the book, but I understand what you're talking about.
can make any sort of comments on it at all? Because when I read it, the conclusion that I drew is that the person who wrote it anyway is trying to portray that there's a fair amount of oil, and we just create these shortages like we're doing now because to quell China's growth now, to drive prices up.
Some people will see it and some people won't. I mean, the fact on oil data is that oil discoveries peaked in 1964. It is a mathematical certainty that production peaks about 30 to 40 years after discoveries do. Recorded discoveries since we are now using 5 barrels of oil for every new barrel of oil found. There are no more big fields to find, and you really need to buy this book. Because this book right here, read it, okay? If you believe that there's an abundance of oil left, and this is all some stupid manipulation after that, then you can go back to the bar and have a drink on the Titanic. You know, it's so obvious now. Just 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, 2 key figures from the International Energy Administration leaked documents to The Guardian in Great Britain, front page story, that all the oil figures coming out of the UN were cooked and inflated as a result of US pressure. The purpose being was to convince people to keep on buying, spending, and consuming because people would stop if they knew how little oil there was. It was not to panic the markets. And everything is structured now to protect the financial. Does anybody here feel better because the Dow is at 10,000 now? Is your life any better? That's pump and dump. They're pumping it up on the paper money they printed right now. Read this book. If you read this book and you still think there's plenty of oil, go ahead. Yeah, it's not that way. Now, there was a lady behind you, yeah.
Now, in the film, when you were asked about human ingenuity, you seemed to discount it. But then later in the film, you were so passionate when you spoke about beliefs. You just did a few minutes ago, and I wanted to ask, so what is it that you believe in?
That was an editing issue with the film. Okay, the question was, do you believe human ingenuity will allow us to continue building Cadillac Escalades and consuming and throwing away cell phones every 2 years and to support 7 billion people and maybe 8 billion people? Human ingenuity will not do that. This has to do with a survival attitude. I've had a lot of survival instincts. I'm talking now about individual survival, your survival.